Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new series of Crusader Kings 3 here on the Lord Master channel. And obviously my name is Lord Master, and we bring you with a brand new series here, in which this is a new game version, as it says down on the bottom right corner of the screen. It says game version 1.1 Argent, and yes, it does say modded, because for the first time in this series that we're using just one mod, and that is a flavor community pack, which is just to add a little bit of variety on clothing and wear and appearances and the like. You know, just to spice things up. I don't want to add too many mods. Just one is good enough for me. But just one will suffice. But anyways, as you can see, those two people on the front of you, the man in the Byzantine armor is our Bosnian ruler, and yes, we're playing as Bosnia. This is Branimir Tezalović, and yes, this is in reference to the Tezalović series that I did with Crusader Kings 2 years ago. And so I thought, well, since there's no 769 start date like we started in the old series, so in this we started in 867. And when I look back on the series, that there was a Branimir Tezalović ruling at that time, but of course it's not the same Branimir as we saw in the old series. But let's just be different. But we do acknowledge the the past Slavic pagan legends of this great Bosnian warrior Vladislav the Merciless. That's what we claim to be descent of here. Oh, and this is his wife, which I'll introduce to you there in a moment. And so, the goal for the Bosnian series will be much different. In fact, this entire playthrough is going to be much different than with the past three series with Asturias, Bactria, and India. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is Count Branimir of Rama, and we shall go to the realm there now. Here we are, Rama. Not to be confused with Lord Rama of Hinduism, one of the incarnations of Vishnu. Not to be confused with that, since our last playthrough, since we were Vaishnavite Hindus. But anyways, Rama is a vassal of the Duchy of Raška, ruled by Duke Mutimir Vlastimiric, which historically he was the first significant Serbian ruler to convert from Slavic paganism to Orthodoxy. But in this playthrough, at this very start, he's a Slavic pagan, as with Branimir of Rama. Now our neighbors down south, like we know that Pagania, based on that name, suggests Slavic pagan, so is Zahumia, Travunia, and Dukla, all Slavic pagans of a Serbian origin. While this is also the first series that we used the ruler designer to create this character. This is a created character for our Bosnian man to govern the said local people here. But he's also a Slavic pagan, which, let me remind you what that is. And yes, there is a Krstjani faith, which I'll show you who they are at the moment. But in this case, for the Slavic faith, also known as the Slavenska Pravda, the three tenets are communal identity, our faith and our culture, and intrinsically, easy for me to say, linked together. This practice strengthens the bonds of our community, though it tends to exclude foreigners. So, conversion speed to our culture will be a little faster, which, I would convert some of the Serbian and Croatian populace that live within Bosnia to be Bosnian, but we don't have time nor the money for that. Money for the taxation. Ritual celebrations. The worship of the divine is something to be exalted in and shared with our community. Organizing great festivals to honor and praise the divine brings us all together. So hosting a feast earns piety, and vassals are more likely to attend my feast. Those who still refuse to come will lose piety in doing so. Even though I ain't got no vassals except for the local mayors. And finally, sanctity of nature. The natural world is the creation of the divine, and we are merely guests in it. We must respect and honor every tree, every animal, even the ground itself. The building construction costs will be a little bit more expensive, but it ups the popular opinion a little, and also less attrition taken in jungles, forests, and taiga, despite the fact the land of Bosnia, there is no forests here. It's all hills and mountains. This is the Highlands of Bosnia. And now for the, again, half of the areas that I control are Slavic Pagan. But this half here belongs to the Krstjani faith. And who are the Krstjani to be exact? Well, here we go. They are an organized Christian faith. We consider them evil, and they consider us as evil, because we're pagans, mind you. So, there are three tenets as mendicant preachers. The missionaries travel far and wide with nothing but the clothes they wear on their back. They live off the generosity of those they visit, and share the knowledge of the true faith in return. So this will make conversions faster, and characters of the faith will gain an additional bonus of successful completion of a pilgrimage. It also makes temperate a virtue, while gluttonous a sin. And like every other Christian faith, they follow Gnosticism. The pleasures of fine food and drink only serve to distract us from the service to the divine. Isolating ourselves in remote monasteries is the best way to avoid the temptations, so they can take the vows and become a monk or a nun. And the virtue of sin is the same. And its pastoral isolation is another thing. They will always consider us other Christian faiths to be righteous, which, even the most outward thinking of Christians are considered righteous, regardless of their doctrinal differences. They're more resistant to conversion. The characters and counties may sometimes reconvert back to this faith if led astray. Characters, but not counties, are more willing to be converted away from this faith. So all the Krstjani, the opinion of different faith liege, and different liege opinion will be +10, but it makes them less developed. All because they say that they want to be left alone and their practice on their own and no more the business of anyone else than theirs. So there you have it. We know their sins as lustful, gluttonous, sadistic, which is typically Christian, except for the gluttonous part. That's vengeful is another one of it. Gluttonous was added due to these tenets. Chaste, temperate, compassionate, and forgiving are Christian virtues. And temperate was added due to these two. All the crime doctrines are shunned, so a little forward thinking. Must be approved, legitimized. Marriage between cousins, aunts, nephews, uncles, nieces is allowed. Sexual relations between cousins, aunts, nephews, uncles, nieces will not give the incest secret. They also do alms and pacification instead of control, which was typical. So that's due to their ghosty and trusting that the poor and downtrodden have sufficient food and shelter when they can not provide it for themselves. It's only men. They don't allow marriages in the clergy, and they're for life. And they follow the teachings of Jesus. So therefore, there you have it. Now for us Slavic pagans, we are a bit more restrictive. The sins of ours is deceitful, shy, and arbitrary, while honest, gregarious, and just are virtues. Cousin marriages are allowed, but only sexual relations between cousins will not be incestuous. While every crime doctrine is criminal, so we're very restrictive. And the clerical function is recruitment, which members of clergy can serve as commanders or champions. And priests and priestesses can serve as chaplains, and we allow the marriages, and we're allowed to appoint whenever we wish to. We have no head of faith. So yeah, much more restrictive compared to the last faith that we played as in the previous playthrough with India, with Vaishnavism, which only Kinsang is criminal. Some are accepted and other parts are shunned. big time doctrinal differences, and obviously we consider them evil, and those Hindus consider us as hostile. The Easterns are more tolerant. Pagans, Christians, or Abrahamic faiths for that matter, less tolerant. And this is what the culture makeup looks like in the lands of former Yugoslavia as we know today. Serbians over there, Croatians over there. There are Dalmatian Greeks, and there's a little bit of Bosnian, which only consists of 5 counties of Bosnian. And this is why we created this character in the first place, to govern the said people. So for now, the land is divided. You got Slavic paganism still prevalent in Serbian-speaking lands. Catholicism has reached Croatia. Obviously there's Greek Orthodoxy. Tengri up to the north because the Avars still live there. Slavic paganism over there as well as the Russian-speaking people over there. The only thing you have to worry about is Bulgaria and Byzantine Empire, which they're currently at war with the Maghrebi of Sicily. And I'm sure they're also going to want Crete back, which is held by the Berbers, unless they get into a peasant revolt. And keep in mind, the South Slavic lands is considered Byzantine Empire territory. So there will be a time that they will come up here and interfere with our affairs. They want this land back one day, because not only because we're pagans here, but also the last time that this area was conquered by the Byzantines, this was under the reign of Justinian I. Yes, Justinian, the last Roman. That was the last time that he came across, conquered these lands, and his successors held it until the Slavic peoples migrated down here, then settled. Of course, there are others that we may have to worry about in case they have coastal ambitions to make their presence in that side of the Adriatic. And of course, big bad Italy. But they'll be fighting amongst each other to, reclaim the old Frankian Empire. Unless they wish to form Germania, which would be excellent, because never any of my playthroughs ever see Germania form. Anyways, the game rules are still the same. It's, well, actually, let me show you, before we finally get moving with this series. Game rules, here it is. Exclave independence is significant. Everything else is the same, except for diplomatic range restricted. Because we don't want, countries like Byzantium making contact with England, or any of that nonsense of these coalition wars like you would see in EU4 or Imperator Rome. And speaking of Imperator Rome, by the way, coming soon, Imperator Rome Athens, and it will be concurrent with the Bosnian series. So yes, 2 series taking place in the Balkans. You got, and yes, there will be nudity, but don't worry, I'll have it blurred out on the YouTube. Don't you worry, because they added this setting on the editor. So yeah, so you got 1 series that takes place in Bosnia, and then in ancient times, Athens is going to be the setting in and around ancient Greece. So yes, Athens and Bosnia, 2 different countries. You got the Highlands of Bosnia, that down to Athens, the cradle of Western civilization. Even though we aren't exactly Western, we're Slavic, so therefore we're considered eastward thinking and whatnot. So anyways, Branimir, let us introduce him. He is lustful, he is wrathful, he is gregarious, and of course you probably know by now that he's one-eyed. And since I created this character, and by the way, he's handsome, and due to him being a skilled tactician, and I forgot to pick a a commander trait, so you were given a random one. Unyielding Defender, which is good for friendly fatal casualties because, well, we are a small army, so we don't want to take too many casualties. So here's the reason why he's one-eyed. And speaking of Greek stuff, even when you look at him, and this is the reason why he's wearing Byzantine armor and chose not to have any headwear, because some of the hats around here look a little bit ridiculous. Like, when you look at him, doesn't he remind you slightly of Philip II of Macedon? Similar hairstyle, similar beard, one-eyed, except Philip lost the right eye, not the left, like Branimir here. So here's the reason why. Natural Dread plus 10, and Raffle, Natural Dread plus 20. And because of this, Natural Dread is going to be 30, and with those two traits, so Dread is going to be going up. And it will reach the maximum at 30. Or is that minimum? Anyways, so it'll reach to the minimum of 30. So he will be a bit of an intimidating ruler. You know, he's rather handsome to the ladies, and he's a gregarious, so he likes to meet people. It's a Slavic thing to be gregarious. But don't get on his bad side. And he can do well with the seduction scheme. We've met the rulers of our time. Now, the council. My Zerets, my priest. Plus 20 for the start. Learning skills 20, you mean? Very good. He can help me with the piety. We're not here to convert the faith. Don't convert the Krstjani people. They'll convert right back. They wish to be left alone. Now we got Mir Ilya, average, which will help me to get up with the prestige slightly. And we got another average Joe in Berbat, Mayor Travnik. Fortunately spindly, but he'll be alright. My marshal is not that good, unfortunately, so he's poor. So he could be doing some mistakes, but if there's anyone better, well, unfortunately we have to swap for it. Unless we be looking for some other people. And there's my spy master, Numera Srebrenica, who's... Fortunately, he's craven. Because of that, he's terrified of me. If there's going to be an assassination plot against me, he's never going to join any plot, so... He'll keep. And I've come to the realization that all my council members, except for my Bosnian priest, they're all Serbian. And my wife is Bosnian too, Matea. Which, she's paranoid, she's brave, and she is zealous. So that's why they call her a fearless zealot. Rough terrain expert, so sometimes I wish she was fighting alongside of us, but we do not have the equal doctrine. But since I have no children, first act, I am going to seduce her, but however, she's rather paranoid about it, but I don't know. What about romance? Could it be at least? Nope. She's too paranoid about romance either. Oh dear. But she likes me well enough, despite the missing eye. Oh, by the way, since you're very well skilled, I'm going to make you a physician. We're definitely going to need some money out of this. At least give it a shot. I mean, she likes me well enough. We'll have children in no time. I'm lustful. But, hey, as long as you don't do anything, alright? It's just for starters. And since we're under the domain limit, help me manage the domain, and there we go, reach the limit. So that means we'll utilize the full power of the taxation and the levies, which is severely lacking. Anyways, if I was to swap you... Well, none of you aren't any good. There's only one guest. What? I didn't take you and I had him instead. He's much better skilled. Interestingly, there's two Krstjanis here. And they're both Bosnian. Yeah, good luck trying to find employment. It's been 20 minutes, so now I'll choose my lifestyle, and knowing that I'm a military man, and our main priority is to defend Bosnia against any malefactors. So I'll go for strategy. So we'll unlock this since we got 3 lifestyle perks, because I start off at the age of 27, so the older you get over time with your lifestyle, you pick up perks over time. So reduce cast spell attack cost, siege weapon effectiveness, increased raid speed. Hence the reason why we plan on going raiding soon. And organized march, which our troops can move faster. What would be the good place to raid? It depends on how much of their levies. Seems likely the Greek Dalmatia would be a good place to raid. Maybe perhaps down there as well. Zahumia even. This and that and the other. We have no air. That's all we can do here, so after 22 minutes, so let's get it on. While I'll try to explain along the way. While I will attempt to seduce my wife, which will take about a year's time, if we can get good progress. And by the way, House Tezalović, our motto is loyalty over virtue. It's randomly generated, I didn't name it that. With my marriage to the Countess, it took us 10 days to make the marriage official. The realm expects us to throw a suitably extravagant wedding celebration. It is well within my right to collect the royal aid duty as part of this, but some may consider it tasteless to levy an extra tax during the time of jubilation. Of course I will collect it. Who pays for their own wedding? We need the money. And since we're severely lacking in another thing, and that is good champions. They're all crap fighters, so... And prestige matters little, so... We're calling for champions. I got money to spend. I'm not going to go raiding until I get my champions. So, in our barony, our capital is... Excuse me. The Duke says, as an influential count, it is only fair that you have a voice on my council. In recognition of this fact, I hereby offer you position of Chancellor of Rashk. Is that so? Even though I'd rather be a marshal. But I'm an average diplomacy. Oh, you're down short a man. So, I'll take it. It will add me more prestige, fellow vassal opinion plus 10, and monthly diplomacy lifestyle plus 10 experience, if I was focusing on diplomacy, which ain't happening at the moment. What kind of ruler are you? You're about to be an architect. That's for my liege. Anyways, Visoki is our capital. There's one other holding, Tratni. And Bosna is another. Srebrenica city. There's Castle Soli, city of Belina, and Srebrenica. That's all we have. And I am the cultural head of the Bosnian culture. What do we got here? We have mods, Onaga, mustering grounds, public works, currency, crop rotation, plenary assemblies. These are all known to us Bosnians. Oh, and Koni raids, which we can recruit Koni as men of arms. Light cavalry, which can strike quickly at exposed enemies before. Darting back away. Our colony can be formed into regiments which specialize in harassment and raiding. We have one exposure, and it's Ledger that we'll get in the future. But if I was to pick one, oh gee, we're going to be far behind. We're going to be far behind on the partition laws. I mean, it's already Confederate partition. That's the normal succession law here, and everywhere else for that matter. But we have not researched Galvokind, which of course you wouldn't get any out of it. Of course, the general rule when you start a new playthrough, especially if you're playing in a big country with a lot of culture spread, the first thing you need is to change it to partition. For us Bosnians, we're going to be far behind. We are a minority culture, mind you. If we could spread the Bosnian culture to the rest of the lands, then we'll have a slightly better, better way of getting fascination. Because the average development of Bosnian counties and all this, bad. But I'm going to stick with this fascination because levy reinforcement range. We're a small country. Well, we're a small entity which we serve under the Serbs. Serbs of Raška. Well, I'm not the only Branimir here. Strong man. Oh, we're similar. And he's asexual. Well, what are the odds of that? In Crusader King Street, asexual. This character experienced little to no attraction to other characters regardless of gender. Honestly, for a strong man like him, I don't think he's interested in, I don't think he's interested in either gender. He lives for the sword. He said, well, if he was going to have any... Just shut up already. Don't even get any ideas. And put on your armor. You're my new champion now. Anyways. So that's one. Because you typically invite 3 champions. So we got one man. This is our max levy size. It's 98. Which all I could say is, ugh. This is the best they got. Fortunately, here in Visoki, we already got pastures. So that's a little bit up on the tax rate. But if I was to construct a new building here, I would likely build barracks, but we need the money. Even though we're currently going to be spending money on raising up raiders and raid our neighbors. These are all conquest-related wars. So don't worry about that. So, as the time goes on very slowly, while I will continue to show the explanation. Yes, we invited champions earlier. I mentioned the goal of our series is to create the Kingdom of Bosnia, but that ain't easy. It's actually extremely difficult to me. Not only you create the Kingdom of Bosnia title, as you can see here, this beautiful coat of arms of Bosnia. But to do that, well, one, you have to be an independent ruler. I mean, that's one thing. You have to control the duchies or panates of Bosnia and Zaklumia, also known as Zahumia in their language. And our culture has to reach the early medieval era, which, oh, don't worry, we'll get there in no time. But here's the difficult part. Our dynasty has to have a level of splendor greater or equal to reputable, level 4. We start off as obscure, since this is a newly created dynasty anyhow. So that would take a very long time. So don't expect the Kingdom of Bosnia to be created in the early medieval. Hell, it may possibly happen during the high medieval era. I predict by 1100s AD in this playthrough, that's when we'll finally create the Kingdom of Bosnia. So again, you can't just create right off the bat because you got no duchies. It says require 2. So you gotta get these 2 and completely control it, which will be very hard under Confederate partition. And the fact that you have to be independent. Knowing that one day, it's like, yes, we'll be independent, but Byzantium is going to come up to the South Slavic lands, and they want to retake those areas that's been lost to them for the longest time. So are we really confident enough that we should go raiding? I mean, we have the manpower. Anyone could buy a token of affection, big or small. If I want to impress Countess Matea, I should send her something truly special. Well, she's a to sell it, and she's rather paranoid, so it's going to be hard for her to convince. Oh, and also she's bisexual. I failed to notice that. I'm heterosexual. I know. Created this character. I mean, she's not much into knowledge. Handkerchief with my crest on it. I don't know, she barely knows me. Other than, well, she likes me. And, well, just right off the bat, just give her a rose. Says, I think she already cares for me in some way. I mean, look at her opinion. Even if she's into women, too. I mean, I hope she doesn't, because, you know, it'll be criminal. I mean, don't you know that it's terrible to have same-sex relations? If it's found out, you're going straight to prison. To the handsome Branimir, thank you so much for the rose you gave me. I can scarce remember the last time I received such a wonderful gift. Anything for you, Matea. So there you go. Now you have a 50-50 shot. This is why I don't want to go raiding right now. I'm waiting for the rest of my champions to come. I'll pick up the speed in a little bit. Just show another thing. Forming the kingdom of Bosnia is one thing. Oh, those from Pagania. They're raiding. I mean, after all, they're the Narentine tribe. They're not tribal, but you get the idea of their reputation. Anyways, unite the South Slavs is another thing. Which every South Slavic kingdom title you own, except for the primary title, will be destroyed, and their territories become de jure part of your primary title, Rama, or whatever your title might be. Is that another champion I see? Oh no, it's just my liege past the law of limited crown authority. Anyways, we'll get a random military group innovation, civic as well. To do that, you have to control Croatia, Serbia, Bulgaria, Wallachia, and Moldavia. So that way you completely control the region of South Slavia, as you see it on the outline here. So basically, if you want to create the Empire of Yugoslavia, do that. Not like the Yugoslavia made famous by Josip Broz Tito, but we mean Greater Yugoslavia, one would think. South Slavia is land of the South Slavs. That's what Yugoslavia means in that language. But unite the Slavs as a whole to get the Empire of Slavia, which the Slavia region itself includes, you know, all of this entirely. Not happening. So we're going to be more of a localized series with, you know, Bosnia and all. Now, don't want to go hunting because it's cheap, but there's no reason to it. It ain't got no stress. And I ain't got no vassals, so there's no reason to feast. And no reason to go on a pilgrimage. Because, well, the money's going to be saved for a good reason, really. Here's another thing I'm going to be using that money. I mean, fortunately, we do have, you know, pastures, which increases a little bit of tax and levies, so let's use this money right now and spend it on pikemen. Bosnian spearmen, which they fight well in mountains and hills. That's the reason why we're not raising our raiding force yet. Get us the pikemen. Don't go out raiding without at least one men-at-arms regiment. So we could fight against the levies out there. So you get the basic idea, ladies and gentlemen, of what this is going to be like for this first episode. Here's my plan. Raid our neighbors for loot, unless they have a chance to fight back like those two are duking out. These two Serbian pagans of different entities fighting one another. We raid the neighbors, raid the towns, raid the churches for money. Take the money to Bosnia so we can have a little source of income. And when the situation in Russia all goes to Velez, you know, that's the evil god in Slavic paganism, when that all goes to hell, then declare independence from the Serbs, then we'll join Catholic Croatia, and then we'll convert to the local Krstjani faith. Not because, I mean, we don't plan on staying pagan forever. It's not our intention. We had to start off as pagan because of our liege. He'll persecute us with that limited crown authority that he has. You'll do. Well, just sit there and wait, alright? Now, anyways, there'll be one more command coming before we speed it up again. So that's our plan. Get some money, and we'll invest only in this barony, not the others. Just only here in the capital where everything is. And here's a problem about playing in this region. Well, at least most of Europe. The development here is low. Only the coastal areas of Dalmatia has slightly higher development here. But compared to the last time in India, where areas like, you know, the Kannada-speaking lands, Tamil Nadu, the Gangetic Plain, Malwa, and Punjab are some of the most highly developed territories in the world. Compared to Isfahan, Baghdad, Constantinople, Rome, Cordoba, and Paris, they're much more higher developed areas because they're well established. But now here in these mountainous lands, it's less developed, and that's for that reason. That's the reason why we are getting pikemen. It's so we can get up close to 1,000, where we can definitely best the levies. But if there's going to be a good place to raid, well, the strength is similar, but they're just levies only. Count Zedislav of Požega, our opinion. Oh, great, a holy warrior. Be careful when taking him on. Our liege's strength is similar, but unfortunately, if there's someone going to be attacking us, it's likely going to be Slavonia. But he has very weak intrigue, so which means he could be vulnerable to assassinations, but that's only if I have the money to get the agents abroad there. So it could spell trouble if he tries a single holy war against Bosnia. Or Raška for a part of Bosnia, hence the reason why I need to eventually become independent and join Croatia to be under their protection, and subsequently convert to Krstjani, so we don't get persecuted. Part of commanding an army, means making sure my soldiers have plenty of food, drink, and camp gear for long campaigns. To this end, I should come up with a plan for ensuring my soldiers always have the supplies they need in the field. I ain't got the money for that. Well, since this is a 50-50 shot, roughly, I'll just arrange a network of merchants to help me. This may give me a martial lifestyle experience points. Anyways, let's pick up the pace a little. After going through reams of financial ledgers, I was able to pick out a group of merchants scattered around the countryside which I knew would be dependable. I made an offer to keep them on retainer to provide any supplies my army needs at a moment's notice. This will ensure my commanders will always know who they should go to when they need provisions. You know I'm going to be that kind of guy. Now to skim a little off the top. Look, we don't need, supply capacity because our range is rather limited because we plan on raiding and the like. As I said, our range is rather limited. So let's just make a little bit of money while we get a little bit more experience. Which I do plan on becoming a strategist in this life. Now that we've acquired that money, I guess we can bring you in too. Good investment. But you got 5 months. Once I seduce my wife, then that's when we'll raid. Because I want to lay with her just to make sure that we get a child and heir for the Tezalović dynasty, as we are descendants of the legendary Bosnian Slavic hero Vladislav the Merciless, who defeated the best of the Greek warriors that Byzantium had to offer. By the way, true story, Crusader Kings 2, Tezalović, Episode 6, The Legend of Vladislav. You could say it's an old Bosnian pagan folktale. Anyways, the celebrations come to an end, and as the evening's entertainment seemed to be over, when Countess Mate suggested a reading. A clerk soon arrives, wondering what the guests would like to hear, and I see my chance to impress Mate. Well, she is zealous, something pious, like the city of God. Even though, if you're thinking of, you get the idea. I think she wants to hear about religion. As the clerk reads for us, Mate seems completely engrossed. She later approaches me. Good choice, Branimir, she says, and puffs her chest. Puffing your chest? What the? It was great, wasn't it? Small doing chemistry. Now we have 70% chance of success. Who's we? By we, you mean you, Branimir. No one else. A year has passed. So now, well, I'm sure he's really investing, and with him being zealous, so I'm sure that man is going to be the first one to strike against us. I mean, he's got nowhere to go but here, if he's going to do a county-sized holy war. Whereas that man, well, he's unlanded. He's more in intrigue, but less militarily powerful because he's lazy, so I could potentially get rid of him. But, all hell could potentially break loose. All the Croats that are really moving here. So this is what's going to be a difficult challenge. Unless you get married, you get your own children, and make some alliances. Come on. What are you waiting for? Oh, wait a minute. They're all Orthodox. Oh dear. I did not realize that your sons have gone Orthodox. Who's the guardian? Nobody. Oh boy. But again, we're only going to be temporarily Slavic pagan, then we'll convert to Krstjani, also known as the Bosnian Church. We don't have the piety, but oh, we'll get it in time. Don't you worry. I mean, we could do it, so we could save ourselves from any holy war threats, especially if it's going to be coming from him. Peasant rabble in Bosnia. Well, obviously, they are of a different faith, despite the fact they're our culture. So, I don't see the reason why. Of course, this is really going to mess with the control. We're not quite fully en masse yet with the pikemen. And I'm expecting one more champion to come. If not, then I guess we're just going to go in as it is. I see you. Another Bosnian. Aggressive attacker. Not a good commander, but a good fighter. How much? 20. Drive a hard bargain. Give it a Zlatonosović. That's a heck of a last name. I heard footsteps. Was that you? Oh yeah, you're raiding. We'll be raiding soon. Just 2 more months. 2 more months. First place we would raid is Duvno, right next door. And what are we going to use that money for? Invested in a barracks. So we can have more levies for our own protection. But I fear the Slavonians may strike very soon. Sting of rejection. You are an impical man, Branimir, but I do not like you that way, says Countess Matia Postris. Only Rod knows what the future might hold for us. Oh, yes, of course, you refuse my advances. What are the odds? Well, you still like me well enough, so... don't try it. She likes me well enough, get her pregnant soon, but... now, it is time to raid. To Duvno. And then we'll go down to Greek Dalmatia. Well, since they've been beaten up, we'll probably raid them too. Even if there are fellow Slavic veterans. Oh. Well, you better hurry up before they get here. Alright, we got 14 gold in our loot, so... 20 realm capital, pastures, good loot. And in addition, there's a city of Havar. Let's go over there. Is it possible to raid against your own faithful? Get out, get out, get out! Okay, we're out of the borders. If we raid Pagania, then after that, then raid the island of Havar. It's a good thing that I chose more raid speed. And when we send this money in, oh boy, oh boy. they're not capable of defending themselves, so maybe Stan will be next after Hava. We got 34 now. Now, off to the city of Hava. And then Stan is next. No good loot in Ragusa, but there's good loot in Lagai. Also, by the way, we can't do overseas raiding like Vikings. Faith doesn't allow it. $49 to Stan. There's this other city that we can also raid. More cities. Yeah, we came out from Prozor, now we're just... It's a good thing that the Dalmatian cities give out a lot of loot. However, their churches aren't as valuable. Because the Greeks haven't really well established themselves there, even though they've been there for a while. We captured a mayor. Another Branimir. Pay up, and we'll let you go. Give us your money. He's intimidated. 58. So this one for another 9. Another 9, then this will be the last place to take before we will get what we need. So yeah, you're allowed to raid against your own faith. Those that follow the same faith as you. This is why we're the Highlanders. Came down from the Highlands of Bosnia, and we come down to raid because I am the last of a dying breed, because these traits are characteristic of a Slavic barbarian that some of the Christians would be calling me. I'm the last of a dying breed. What's going on? Aha! Could potentially be bad, but I would love to help you out, but too bad that we're not allies. Because I would love for him to... Well... Oh yeah, Tripimirovic. The guys who once came from Croatia. It's the Domagojevich that controls Croatia. But don't cross him, he's a schemer. Alright, last area to raid, and then we'll go home. We're having a good time. I didn't get to have a good time with my wife, but we're gonna have a good time raiding. Because they can't defend themselves. This one's gonna take another month. But, you know, this would be an opportunity to raid up there. There's not much loot because of, well, you know. But we could make Zagreb. Yes, let's indirectly help them out, because I don't like that Slavonia up there. Fire and Blood. The settlement of Lagai, an important stronghold in Greater Zahumia, has fallen to my raiders. We have the run the vast tracts of land, and many of the quivering subjects and shining treasures of Count Pavel to choose from. The troops stand ready, awaiting my command to give them direction. Development progress with the Count of Rama. Just a 40. There's no development growth here, but if this helps, well, maybe. Either that or just get more money. You know, we're interested in barracks. But if we want skilled slaves for Visoki, I would rather be taking Greek slaves. either mess with the development and get our development, which even though we're not working on development here, due to the neighbors. Even if we wanted more development, then progress is growth. You see that there? That's what they mean by that, and we're not going to get any, so just bring me bounteous plunder. And that's all we can hold, so let's go. It's full. We're definitely going to invest it on a new barracks. Or, yes, barracks. Because we have pikemen, spearmen. Even captured its mayor early on. Well done. Now let's have a new barracks. This is +4 heavy infantry damage and +4 spearman damage. So we'll have a wooden barracks going up in 3 years' time, which will have even more levies in Visoki or in County of Rama. Well, we're not done yet. We're going to raid these two here in the County of Vukovar. And then we're actually going to go up over there and find their army and fight them. We want to cost them their little war. Because, you know, this war against tyranny, like if they win, he's deposed, which means he will abdicate to him, who isn't as good. That's why we are interested. And if we do get to loot a little bit more money than typically, we may have to further increase the size of the pikemen. Don't want to get siege weapons yet, because we're not on the offensive. But we're doing something to spend it on the defense for the Bosnian culture. And it's going to be 2 years' time before these peasants will rise up against us. Just get to loot and fight them. 17 versus 22 in commander advantage. I can take them on. Even though it's hills, so that isn't good. No rivers in between. So, we have pikemen. They got no men at arms. We'll be fine, we hope. Just get the money first. Now, in more money. Let's get up there and beat them up. We'll probably win. No. This way. Defending a river crossing. There's another river crossing? Oh, there is. Well, it's going to take them 3 months. What if we go the long way around? Well, it doesn't matter. Just go. It's the quickest route. We have a better army commander, and I have more army commander traits, which is led by Branimir, who is a money man. Chase him down to the plains, if we can get him. Chances are even. Hit and run. Increase spearman toughness. I don't like it when it says chances are even. I mean, after all, we did take a drop because of the attrition. If we lose, alright? That'll find me Luca. They have slightly more knights than we do, but I have a slightly better advantage. But unfortunately, this is in hills and just close to the river. But it appears we are killing them more than we are getting. Our champion wounded one of their men. Ours was wounded. We have maimed the Ban of Slavonia. Okay, I'm wounded. Krstjani again. Okay, do actually go home because took a bit of a beating, and I don't want to go out, you know, raiding with a beaten force. So didn't do that. We just want to beat him up a little, just. Oh, and he's near death. Ha ha ha! Good job. Which means he gets to take over. That's what I wanted. Yeah, what we got was ill-gotten gains, but... What do you mean ill-gotten gains? Just stand down for now, until we are fully reinforced, and we'll be back into raiding again. Yep. The old man kicked the bucket. Died from his internal injuries, thanks to my champions. So now they are a weaker force, and it's about even, so it'll be keeping them busy now. Now we have to worry about is Croatia. Even though we'll be looting Croatia soon. After we know we already raided the heck out of this place. So enjoy your spoils. And we can increase the size a little more. Because we were still making good income while we were fully raised. So more pikemen. More spearmen. That they get to fight and defend Bosnia's mighty homelands. And it's also to be prepared to crush the peasant rabble here. Even though it's going to cost us a little bit of control. So our potential next target to raid would be the Greek Dalmatian coast. But they got bowmen. We should raid there first. In Sinjgrad. Because it has the most loot, and if their troops come up, we'll beat them in their mounds. Beat them at their own game. Don't fight the Croats yet. And it would be nice to have a child by now. Figuring that we've known each other so well. Despite the fact that you rebuff my advances, which means we cannot seduce her again. Until, when exactly? This is refuted advances. A couple of years then I'll have a chance to seduce her again. It's my best chance to lay her. But knowing her, and, she's bisexual and rather paranoid, look at the women at court. There's hardly any, so I don't think she would be looking for... actively look for a woman for herself. Well, he's wounded, but he became an aspiring blade master, so get well soon. And you know, if you switch to increased development in county, not only we would be getting less domain taxes, but it does add a little bit more to the construction time. Well, there's a chance that it could slow the construction of this barracks for us, which it says it'll be done in January. But if we put that here now, then it'll be done in September in 2 years. So, oh, it actually makes very little difference. It'll be fine. And don't care about the development growth. We just want this. We would just want this building done now. While we get our levies up to max. Our pikemen are ready. We're ready to raid, but let's wait about... How about at spring? We'll begin raiding in spring and go to that first. What's going on? Attacking? There's a holy war in Slavonia. Oh no. I don't like that. They could send an ultimatum at any given moment now, so... If the Greeks want to expand over there, well, go ahead. Because we'll be raiding your area soon, while you have your backs turned. Real question is it enough? Well, it's going to take them a lot of time, so... Raid them when they're not looking. 1 more month. Then we'll go. Yes, that's enough. Their capital should have a lot more, since, you know, they aren't around to defend it. Crusader. Thank you. Even with the fully raised army, the taxes is still good here. I could just max all the pikemen if I want to. But we could have another men-at-arms regiment. The Croats are bringing bowmen, and to counter this said... No, it's the Greeks that have the bowmen. They counter against skirmishers, but it's cavalry that counters against archers. But we don't have much in the way of cavalry, and this geography here, we're not going to do well here. But what we're going to be doing well is the looting. Yes, all of this. Nin, Rabi, all these areas. Oh, actually be careful with that. That's Croatian territory. They can take Slavonia, but we're just going to raid where the money is. And loot the city and their temple. And Senchkroa. Fire and blood once again. More money. And we've captured the daughter and heir. And he's a known adulterer. Well, since you got a lot of money, you pay well. 100. Ha ha ha. We're definitely gonna make our living. Yeah. I guess the money is in the Greeks. Even though we Bosnians have no love for Greeks, thanks to, you know, the reputation of our legendary Slavic hero, Vladislav Merciless. Again, I'm going to keep mentioning him like it's a source of inspiration. No mayor. Now we look this bishopric, then Sinskroat. They ended the siege. Oh no, they're chasing down. Hit them when they're not looking. City of Split's got money. Alright, now to the big ones. We've raided all of Zadar. How much is it to build another city? Don't have city planning innovation. And also a temple's got to be constructed first. No city planning, which isn't going to be around for some time. Epirus. Count of Rama. Oh, Byzantine vassal. They're moving in. Now to Split. I was about to say, what to do with all that money? Now Rama is joining. Oh, we better get back here soon, so, finish the loot. Okay, actually one more bishopric. There's one down there. Then return home. And we'll crush the peasant rebellion. It's really going to mess with the control. One more area to loot. Then we'll go home. Even though I would love to go up there and kick their ass, but we cannot. Ain't no one's gonna save them now. Unless I were intervene, but it'll be too late for that. We would love to get more, but unfortunately, we must end our venture. And I know we didn't raid the rest of Book of Arbor. We may potentially raid them too, up there, since they're in the middle of their little civil war. Alright, stand down, we must rest and get ready. What to do with that money? Well, since the peasant rabble is going to be taking place in 2 counties, but not up there though. Because we just barely have the popular opinion, so maybe we should just invest in, well, farming. Yeah, go where the money is. Invest where the money is. Because we barely make any income, so it'll be wise to spend your money on things that help you make money. Is what you mean. Well, we will try to get our barracks up, and then after we deal with the peasant revolt, let's get it over with. We're ready to take them on. Our pikemen will crush them. So is our champions. Still not better. Oh, he's feeling poor. Well, stick around. We're gonna need you for this. Comes good. To the lecherous Count Branimir, we have been burdened with your oppressive laws for far too long. What laws? That's because we're pagan, that's the reason. No more! We're done paying you taxes. Once your coffers drop and your larders are empty, you will wish you had treated us more than fairly. Says the Bosnian Krstjani here. Controller will change by -75. Can't do that. We'll just say, never! A peasant's lot is to serve their lord. To the brooding Branimir, the arrogance knows no bounds. Worry not, you shall be soon taught a lesson in humility. Yeah, there goes that levy size because of the lack of control. Let's get rid of them. They're all levies. We got pikemen, which they do well in hills and mountains here. That's one. Now get the leader. We wounded the leader. By the way, Everest wants Ragusa, so that's going to be rather precarious to see them this close to here. But also Pagania also wants Ragusa. Right. We still got a good number of soldiers, but unfortunately the control is reduced, which means we'll not utilize the full levies and taxes. It's because of the fervor. That's the reason why there's going to be peasant revolts often. Unless we convert to their faith. If we want it back to under our control, it'll take us many years. Unless we get a better marshal, which fortunately there is. Branimir, the champion. You'll do. We can get everything back under our control then. And also the it's still going to be finished as scheduled. Hope you don't revoke your titles. He released him. He didn't revoke. But he's going to remain rather weak, so he will not be a threat to Bosnian interests. Now it's Croatia we have to worry about soon. He holds more land. What are his sons like? Bad, but they're still very much in a way of intrigue. Surprised you haven't been attacked yet, otherwise I wouldn't got the notification. Won the battle in Cluj. But the Greeks of Epirus want Ragusa too. They control Ragusa, but they have not taken Zahumia. Of all the buoyancy I've seen, Mayor Ilias in main efforts to improve my relation with my neighbors, my good-for-nothing chances officially acknowledge Count Branimir of Zet claim to the County of Ustora. You're supposed to make me friends, not enemies. Knowing him, he's gonna sneak his way around us. Yikes. You dumb fool. Clearly there's someone more qualified for the job. No better steward. No better spy master, so you'll keep. We're about to get more. Fate smiles upon me. My wife, Countess Mattia, is bearing my child. I cannot wait to hold the baby in my arms. I get to have an heir. Barracks is about to be finished, so wait for it. Wooden barracks finished, so thus increasing the levy size. And then I will soon invest in hunting grounds, which adds a little bit more tax, but more defender advantage, and a little bit more levies. And then build up hill forts. This is our capital, so we need a stronger garrison. We can build up the said hunting grounds now, even though we won't have much of money, but we'll get money, don't you worry. Remember the places you can loot. You can loot Slavonia now without trouble. It's going to be our next place to raid after we've raided the heck out of the... They're not done. They're still fighting. They've taken Ragusa. Epirus has taken Ragusa, but now they're going to have to deal with all of Byzantium for that. Which they got nothing better to do, but they'll defend their new gain now. And it seems they probably didn't win on the Sicilian situation. Well, good luck with that. Even though we raided your place. 14? 11. Okay. Greeks first, Slavonians later. Until we get this matter under control, which even with the increased control of the Count is very slow, and I even told my marshal to, for goodness sakes, it's gonna be a while, but at least we found you when we invited you. But again, we can't invite more champions until 6 years later. Fair enough. So let's raise our raiders because we got enough. Even though it's not fully under our control yet. And look at that. We barely make any money because of the payments to these pikemen here. The Bosnian spearmen. Which one would think it's like, well, since we live in formerly Byzantine territory, we just think ourselves like, I don't know, how they sense the, the Greco-Bosnian connection. So don't spend it on the new thing yet, till you have at least 1 gold. We have no cavalry, no skirmishers, but do go for Parthian tactics anyway. And every courtier respects me now. So now get us hunting grounds. The hunters' lodges. Which was just to add +2 defender advantage. And small additional levies to go along with a bit more tax. Since we already have this. And then we're saving us more money for small hill forts, which is going to need a lot more money, which is why we're going raiding again. Greeks first, then Slavonia. Unless Italy is busy. Yes, they are, so we made raid Istria. But don't get greedy. Just because they ain't there doesn't mean, And I wouldn't even dream about raiding Venice, because they'll put up a fight. Especially that this Serene Doji over there is a torturer and a schemer. In other words, a real bad guy. And no, you cannot enter Venice here unless you go by sea. And we do not have the ability to raid across sea. We're not Vikings. Get this now. It seems we become notorious raiders these days. Also, a child should be coming by now. My firstborn. Gonna gamble on it. Let's go raid Istria. Don't go raid too far overland. Seeing all this loot there is rather tempting, but whoa, actually this is in revolt, so Count Rudolph's claim for Italy. That's what's going on here. Where's the current position? Gulf of Venice, so as I say, it's rather tempting because he's got more forces, mainly mercenaries. So let's just do in and out. My son and heir. And he is handsome, just like me. And of course, we've mentioned many times about this legendary Bosnian Slavic hero by the name of Vladislav. So I shall name him Vladislav. May you grow to be strong and wise, my son. And with your good looks, you may get a few women yourself when you grow up. I never know. Okay, we're in their land. Then we'll just take this city. I mean, it's tempting, but they're going to be busy with their civil war, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Cola. We need money, so bring me mountainous plunder, of course. Next. Slavonia can wait. We're just going further inland. You know, there's going to be a bit of attrition. So don't overstay your welcome into this part of Italy. Nobody really... Oh! Actually, wait, they're on a retreat, and that's the Duke himself. Our champions can take on their knights. We could definitely cost them their, you know. Well, that's the fight what you want, it's the fight you're gonna get. Yeah, after this, we're going home, knowing we're gonna take casualties. Got him. We're still in good shape, so, 2 more places, alright? That's right, 2 more areas, then turn back. Because we got a long trek home to go. There's not much up to offer up there. $80. Well, actually, we can raid that one more time, then we'll go. Because it should be full by then. So my wife is with child. I should be overjoyed, but no, she's been acting strange, and I cannot shake the feeling that something is wrong. You know, I've been out here, and I wasn't there for her, so I really thought she claims that she betrayed our marriage. But if she's a bisexual, and logic says that a woman cannot impregnate another woman, so we'll look into this discreetly. You may never know. So if I find evidence of her unfaithfulness, it's going to be prison for her, because in our religion, adultery is terrible. I'll use my intrigue challenge, see if we can get something out of it. Speak of getting something out of it. Okay, a few more to go, so... Oh, no, let's just go home right now, because by the time we go home, we're going to be taking more attrition damage. Go to the old route. Take the long way round. Like you were. Were to go through there. There. Mm-hmm. Yes. There. Made it home with no attrition. Suspicions laid to rest. It seems that my fears have been unfounded. Despite every effort on part of my spies, I have found no indication that Countess Matia has been unfaithful. Unfortunately, she has found out about my suspicions. It's very disappointing to me. Of course I trust you along, dear. So I guess the child is mine then. Fine by me. So let's get out of here before these Italians come back. Then we'll cross through Croatian territory without any harm. And we'll have Visoki and Rama fully back under our control. If it's a daughter, I know what I'm going to name her. Only because, since we are Slavic pagans, we use Slavic names for our children. No Christian-sounding names here. We're not Krstjani yet. 88 gold, it's good enough. And of course you got your tail kicked by Byzantium. My glory is widely known thanks to my reputation of being a raider. So let's disband and we rest and recover for the time being. One would think I would just spend my money, but no. We're saving it up for Hill Fort. That's what we have planned. And yes, we're still increasing a little bit of development here. But that's for the increasing the construction speed. Slavonia, you're next. You may put up some resistance, but you... Oh no, it's Duke Mutimir that declared war on Slavonia. We want Vukovar. Well, we did beat the heck out of them in the Civil War. You do have the forces to take them on. I'd be happy to assist you. Because we must work together, otherwise Croatia's going to be eyeing on us. And the Greeks, if we're not careful. We'll meet you in Vukovar soon, so I'll put a rally point here. Guess the Hill Fort can wait. Six months. Oh, I got it. I mean, I will join the war to help out with this situation. Got an idea. We'll raise our troops on top of them. Even though it'll be plains. Move and lock. Raise armies. So we'll be ready in 2 days' time. We're not a raiding force anymore. We're officially an armia now. Armia Beha. Well, not exactly. But you get the idea. We'll probably win. You doing okay? Good. It's another son who is comely. I was hoping for a daughter, but another son it is then. I actually had something else in mind. Not Branimir, because there's already too many Branimirs in this part of the world. I'm thinking of an archaic Slavic name. I recall there's a man somewhere. Is he around? Like, don't you have that's Duchy. Branimir, yeah. That's an archaic Slavic name that's hardly ever seen in today's world, or ever. So, Branimir. Is that how you say that name? Again, archaic Slavic name. We use Slavic names around here. Anyways, to the battle. Name Count Mutimir, not our liege Mutimir. We're just trying to preserve your strength. We Bosnians will do the fighting. We'll chase down the enemy army, and we'll continue to beat the heck out of them. They're likely heading to Zagreb. I look forward to being a strategist. Because I'm a man who knows strategy. Unfortunately, this man is an organizer. I know this because because I saw it, so... Yes, he has a faster movement speed than me. Hunter lodges are finished, so... Oh, he's gonna take it to the mountains. Don't let them. Count Zedisov Poshega. We got him here. If we can capture him, I would recruit him. He's got good martial skill, I count him. But our man Branimir's been wounded by him. And him again. But we wounded him. Should we capture him, since he's wounded? Yes. That's his heir. So keep him in prison. I told you, let us Bosnians do the fighting. Our Liege should not be losing troops because the other countries will be looking at him as weak. We Bosnians will do all the work. I don't know. So keep Count Zadislav here. But him, I want to recruit him because he's got talent. I know talent when I see one. He may be a Catholic, but two things. And I would prefer you to be a Slavic pagan too, because we're Slavic brothers, you know. Need your talent, and do get well soon. Likely going down the bus. Just watch your step now. You're now officially champion. We'll help you take Vukovar soon. We just want to eliminate this army for good, where it wouldn't be a threat to Bosnia's interests or anyone else's. And yet we keep saying Bosnia as if it's a real Banate, which that is not yet formed. Yes? Like for young son there, Vladislav Tezalović to be raised by Stefan Vladimirovich, as most skillful guardian, will become Serbian. No, 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 no. I prefer to keep it Bosnian, and that's my heir. You're talking. Both side fields constructed. Who's that? Igor. We haven't wounded him. We've captured Mayor Krstjani of Osijek, so he's landed, so therefore he will be ransomed and give us the money, which will have enough money for that hill fort that we promised to build. Why haven't you finished the siege? They're no longer a threat now, so we're coming to assist you. So let's just take the objective, and you shall win. But I get all the glory. Full control of the county. Now we need full control on the other. For Bosnia, because no peasant rabble yet, but they messed with it a little, so we're not getting full taxes or levies. And can't wait to go back raiding the Dalmatian coast again. Oh, they've hired mercenaries. Well, you better hurry up and take the objective. Because once you get it, you will win. Captain Lupus. That's a hilarious name to me. Reference to the disease. They can try and take my land, but we're gonna take Vukovar first. Together. And then we'll kick them out. Somehow. At least we know that it's gonna be my child for the third time. They still got food. Hoping for some starvation soon. After the hill fort, once we go raiding, we should spend it on siege weapons. We don't need bowmen, we don't need light footmen. Pikemen will do in Bosnia's hills. And mountains. Damn it! Not progressing fast enough. We can upgrade this. Anyways. Just a couple more days now. Well, meanwhile, a little bit of siege progress. This is gonna mess with the control of Osara. Once they obtain it. Who's that? So the Prince of Bulgaria wants Dukla in a holy war. County of Dukla, yes. Yes, County of Dukla. So Bulgaria is now going to be expanding there. Even though Byzantium also wants Dukla in the future, so no doubt there will be confrontations between the two. And wins the tyranny again. Meanwhile, there's a Liberty War. Yeah, that'll keep him busy. Taking a Vukovar, 100% war score. I keep it there. And there you have it. So we get 75 prestige. Now we must disband because we must rest after a bit of a fight that we had. Now let us build the hill forts that we promised. Which it'll be done in 878. We're doing well together. Caesar's triumph. While studying the tactics of ancient generals, I was amused to learn about Julius Caesar's exploits during his conquest of Gaul. During his siege of Caesar determined that direct assault on a well-fortified city would be too costly. He instead ordered his army to build his own fortress, which surrounded the entire city, trapping the enemy garrison inside to starve, so while simultaneously preventing reinforcements from relieving the defenders. Well, I'm a defender, not much of a besieger because we ain't got no siege weapons. We're not going on the offense, unless my liege is involved. Or I could be reckless, which sounds like Branimir to me. So it reduces the minimum battle roll, but I will get more. I mean, knowing who he is, since he's a lustful, wrathful, gregarious, a typical Slavic trait, one would think, of a person, of a Slavic warrior, so I'll go for reckless, because I believe that's who he is, personality-wise. Well, Slavonia's at it again. Tyranny. Good luck with that, because he's got mercenaries still. Development now, so we better counter against men-at-arms. gonna take us a while to get the levies all back up and get this under full control. Still be no peasant rabble, and we must go raiding soon. Particularly the Greeks, but they've recently been gaining strength. Unless you want to take your chances in raiding all of Slavonia subsequently. And of course there's Pagania and its city. Their loot is back. Oh, you've got dangerous Croatia, which now they want Zahumia, which isn't good. I mean, I could help defend them, but with our combined strength, we can beat them, but we're not fully recovered yet. Damn it! Don't you know what this means with lower popular opinion? That means there's going to be another peasant rabble in the future. Now, today, I am observing Mayor Ilya of Belgium. I was wondering, where is he from again? As he trains some of his new levies. But the recruits under his command resemble a disorganized mob more than an army. I look on as he struggles to gain control of the situation, clearly pushed to his limits. While it's never easy to train new soldiers, he seriously needs to do better than this. Yeah, I will be getting a bit of stress because I'm a wrathful man. But I will get martial lifestyle experience, so I'll teach him what I know about command. So there you go. As I tap Mayor Ilya on the shoulder, he throws up his hands and shouts, "This is not my fault, Branimir. These idiotic peasants don't know their right hand from their left. How can anyone be expected to turn this rabble to an army?" I don't know, you ask me. But I'm disappointed in you. He's a bold fool. That's what they describe him as. Should have another child by now. And looks like we will have a slight increase in development. Alright, got a daughter. But too bad it's not gonna be, you know, as good looking as two brothers of hers. But not Petra, that's too Christian to me. It's too Christian to me, how do you like that saying? Or Krstjani. Since we use Slavic names around here, I come up with one. Only because it's for Bosnian symbolism reasons, so I'm naming her Liliana, which means lily in the Slavic language. And it's the lily that is the symbol of the Bosnians and Bosnian art. Oh man, I feel bad. Taking advantage of the situation. So, one more thing. I should be raising my son. I mean, they're my children. Those two, at least. Yeah, that didn't do well. Tell you what, if he loses, then the Trepimirović gets to take over, and they do have a claim on Croatia. Oh, wait a minute, there's more. Balaton and Great Moravia teamed up. Conquest for a county of Zagorje. They're tribal, so they're allowed to do conquests regardless of religion. Yeah, this will make Slavonia further weak. It's too bad that Domagojevich have no claims to all this, but I would love to, you know, indirectly help out, you know, those guys so they can have the Croatian throne for themselves. Slavonia, excuse me, to be used as a launching pad for a Trapomiroviću to go to Croatia. Hey, wait a minute, isn't he still? Oh no, that's the peasant. Well, he's a known criminal revolted against me. We can kill him. I will get a tiny bit of dread. I got nothing better to do with that party, so burn him. We should do that to every peasant that revolts against us. New standard procedure. Those enemies that you captured, if they can't pay, kill them. And by the way, that is my first execution. Oh, did you finish the development growth? Yes, you did. And let's close this episode because it's been a heck of a premiere for the Bosnian series with raids and a little bit of war and all that. But now, I mean, you shouldn't decline because, don't you know, in the Slavic religion, ritual celebrations. It's a Slavic thing to do. Bratria Serbi, yes. So invites me to the feast and the presents. Of course I will attend. So let's end this episode on a feast. A warm welcome. Every guest is gathered in the great hall. Our gracious host Duke Branimir has welcomed us all to the feast. I cannot wait to talk to everyone. This is who we go. Besides me and the Duke, Stromir is here. Gojnik, Krstjani, Ram, Stepan, yes, the Orthodox one. Mayor Vladimir, Baron Zoran, and the new mayor of Osijek. And then there's me, the only Bosnian on the party. The only one who isn't coming is Chiefess Miljana, who, oddly enough, is of a shot troop. Strange, but I'll wait to talk to everyone. Up in the mountains of Novo Trgovište, Duke Branimir announced a slight delay to the serving of the food, and Gojnik is looking ready to burst with frustration. In between grumbles from his stomach, you can only hear grumbles of displeasure. Gracious ravenous. Huh. You see. So I will be getting +1 points. I don't have much of vassals, and Liege likes me well enough not to say, Gojnik has a point. Where is our food? I mean, don't you know I raid for money and sometimes for food? Christians call me a barbarian. It's a feast, damn it. There's no feast without food. What right does Stromir think he has to claim that my ideas of warfare are misguided? Claiming that my ideas would break down the moment combat is meant, what does he know really? I would love a chance to settle this on the battlefield. +2 martial. At least Stromir showed me that I'm able to defend my understanding of martial lifestyle, and he won't like me much, because we have a disagreement, a strategic disagreement. Well, take it from a Bosnian veteran such as myself, who knows how to raid against the wealthy Greeks. But what a feast! I will remember the days spent in Duke Brandimir's halls for a long time to come. Now it is time to wash off the traces of merriment and wine, and once more resume my duties as Lord of the Realm. Farewell, my liege. I lose 55 stress due to being gregarious, and therefore all that stress that I've gained is gone. Thank you. May we continue this cooperation into the next episode. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the 2 hour. Stopped it right here on Valentine's Day. Well, then again, Slavic pagans don't celebrate that nonsense. We celebrate beasts and other things. But anyways, hope you enjoyed this 2 hour premiere of the Bosnian series, which, well, it's starting to look different and rather precarious due to the interests of Byzantine incursions, Dalmatian Greek ambition, in which no doubt that one day we will return to raid all these areas, anyway, if they dare to go somewhere. Croatia is moving in this direction. Slavonia in chaos. Which unfortunately the critical And we increased a little bit of development here in our capital. With increased development increases taxes and levies. But we're doing that as a way of getting a small hill fort out. So we're going to keep going with the development a little bit. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you join us in the next episode for more of these adventures of the Bosnian Slavic Pagan, until they become Christian when the time is right. We only are Slavic Pagans as a way of raiding against the others, which I think Croatia will be a much better place to raid rather than Greek Dalmatia. Again, I say Dalmatia, it's a Slavic way of saying that name, Dalmatia. But anyways, we hope you join us in the next episode. But until then, so long for now. Pozdrav!